Hi there, and after using 2 sets to build my double modern house, today I'm going to work on the outside with the beachfront and the garden. But before I start on the outside, just a couple of modifications based on a few comments I got. Firstly, several people pointed out that the library probably didn't need 2 of these giant chandeliers. But because originally, obviously, this room was cut in half, these 1x12s were put along the back edge of the room and the chandelier sat in the middle. So to move this to the middle, I thought actually these 2 look a little bit out of place. And from the other side of the tower, you can see that the end of those 2 plates kind of stick out along this white wall. So I'm going to remove those 2 tan 1x12 plates, and at this end I'm going to replace it with a 1x2 tan plate, and at the other end a 1x2 white plate. And now those tan pieces won't stick out like a sore thumb along that all white wall. But because those 1x12s were strengthening the roof, what I've done is add some 4 wide plates underneath, and then these are going to hold all those pieces together and the chandelier can now sit in the middle. So with 1 chandelier now in the middle of the room, when that roof is placed on, we've only got 1 chandelier inside. And looking from the other side, we've no longer got the ends of those 2 tan plates showing up along this white wall. The other very sensible comment I got about the library is that now we've got 2 doors coming into the same room right next door to each other. So I've got some 1x2x3s out of my spare parts, and we're going to brick up one of the doorways. And now it looks much more sensible with only 1 doorway leading from the upstairs landing into the library. A few people commented that they thought maybe the bedrooms shouldn't look identical, but I kind of like that the homeowner has 2 matching bedrooms with matching bed linen, so I'm going to keep that as it is for now. So with the interior updates finished, it's time to work on the outside. Now, if you haven't seen part 1 yet, I'll put a link just up here and also in the description below. But in that video, I said one of the major problems is that if the sea is up here and curving around the corner of the house, and it's also doing the same on the other side of the building, that means the sea must be meeting up and effectively the kitchen door is going to come out straight into the water. So on the original house, I'm going to extend the sea further away from the house, and on the mirror house, we're going to get rid of the sea and the sand completely and turn this into garden. So on the original house, the first thing I'm going to do is extend the land, the grass and the sand, 2 extra studs out this direction, and also I'm going to make a lot more sea area over to the right. So first I've just moved the green and the tan tiles 2 studs towards us, and all the parts that are on top I've just moved obviously 2 studs over. The upshot of that is that we've now got 2 studs gap running all the way along here, so I just need to fill that in with some extra tiles. So on this side I replaced it with a tan 2x8, obviously because that tan is going to be seen underneath the beach chairs over this side. But on the other side behind the green plates, that's never going to be seen, so I just stuck a yellow plate in there. Now at the end of the swimming pool, I don't actually want this grass to curve in anymore. I want it to run along the whole width of the back of the house over to the other part of the garden. So I'm actually going to get rid of this curved plate and replace it with some rectangular ones. And as the curved plate was bright green, we've also done a colour match, so it's now all the grass is the same colour. Down the other end where the tower of the house is, I really like the idea of having this jetty here, but it is quite short. So what I thought, if I can steal jetty pieces off the other side of the house, if we extend the sea out this way, we can also extend the jetty. So I'm going to remove all these blue plates and I'm going to move them out 2 studs like the others, but also I'm going to move this gentle curve over so we've got more space for water over this side, but it means the curve will come in here and then return as it was over here. So this is what I'm proposing the new sea line is going to look like, and I'm just going to fill in the gaps with some more blue plates. And this is what I've ended up with. You can see that I've added a sort of sandbar here after extending out the water. Also that curved tan plate in the corner, I've extended that 1 stud over. You can see in the old version it finished 1 stud short of the end. I've kept it completely clear in front of the jetty because my next job is to use some pieces off the mirror house build and extend that out over the water. So the jetty is made using these 1x4s with a stud on each end, and they're sitting on 1x1 round plates, but they're also sitting on sort of dark tan tiles and jumper plates underneath it. I thought that would look better if they were tan to match the sand, and also black doesn't look really sort of wooden, so I thought if we change these for a darker brown, it's going to give it a more of a wooden effect. So I've removed those dark tan jumper plates with the black round plates on top, and I've swapped them for regular tan with brown on top. And in front, instead of having that plate along the front, what I've done, I've got some stacked 1x1s, and I'm going to put those in front as well, just to make the support structure a little bit taller. And then we can replace those planks, and it looks a lot more jetty-like. Then to extend the jetty out over the water, I've got some jumper plates in the same colour as the water, and I'm going to put those there. And then I'm going to get some more of those stacked 1x1s and put those on top, like that. Then that gives me support for the next plank. And then for the last plank of the jetty, I've stacked up 3 1x1s underneath each side. And I think that gives a much better effect, as you can really see the gaps between the planks now. Then one last addition, I thought I'd use these 1x1 round wood effect tiles to place on top of the planks to really give it a look of the columns supporting the planks on each side. And I think that gives the jetty a much nicer look than the original version. I also wanted to make sure that the palm trees don't look too symmetrical, having a large one and a small one at the front and at the back as well. So I've stolen the small one from the back of the house. What I'm going to do, I'm going to shorten its height by 1 piece. And then we're going to plant that down here. And then what we've got is 3 different palm trees at 3 different heights at the front of the house. And then the last thing that I want to do for the front of the house is that I want to differentiate between the water in the swimming pool and the water in the sea. So I've got an awful lot of transparent light blue tiles, and I want to tile off all this area. But if we look at the heights, if I add tiles on top of this, we're not going to have much of a drop between the edge of the pool and the water itself. So what I want to do is lower all these blue plates by 1 plate, and then we're going to put the tiles on top of that. Unfortunately, if we remove all those blue plates, you can see that they are already raised up by 1 plate from the ground level. So we can remove those supporting plates, replace the blue, and the whole thing is 1 plate lower than it was, ready for the blue tiles. So that's the front of the house complete. So now it's time to start on the back of the house. I've already stolen several pieces off this. We stole the jetty pieces to go on the front. I stole some blue tiles from the swimming pool to fill in the sea, as well as the palm tree and various rock pieces and some tan slopes to help add texture to the other side. So first job really is to get rid of all the sea, all the sand and the swimming pool, and basically start again. So now I've taken off all the parts that I don't need. This is all that I'm left with. And my first job is to make an outline of the grass. So this is the outline that I want to use. Now, to keep the grass all the same colour, I've had to use a huge variety of pieces in this green colour, right down to little 2x3 pieces like this. And that's because Lego don't make a huge variety of pieces in the regular green colour. And that's why on the original set, Lego had used this bright green plate to get the other curve. So to keep all these pieces together, we're going to have some extra garden features and some undulating grass layers, and I'll strategically place all that to keep the plates in place. So first of all, I'm going to work on this end, which is just outside the patio doors, and what I want here is we're going to build a nice large wooden deck. For its base, I'm going to use some of these dark tan bricks with the groove in it, which I use just outside the front door over here, so we're going to make a surrounding border of those. So that's the border put in, and just to make sure that the palm tree isn't in exactly the same place as it is at the front of the house, I've moved it down a couple of bricks so it's further away from the house. And now I'm just going to fill in this area with rainbow bricks. None of it's ever going to be seen, but I need a bit of a support structure for the planks that are going on top. So I've got some bricks and plates underneath for a support structure, so onto the planks. Now, way back in 2020, my daughter got the Friends set 41422, which was called Panda Jungle Treehouse. And in that set was this sticker sheet. And as soon as I saw it, I saw these 2 tan 1x4 stickers, which have got some wooden planking effects on them. So while it was still new and people were buying it, break it up into parts and selling it on, I bought 25 of these sticker sheets and 50 tan 1x4 plates for the stickers to go on. Now, just so the deck doesn't look too repetitive, every other row I'm going to use 3 1x4 planks on it, and then the rows in between them I've got some 1x2 tan plates, and I'm going to do a little bit of sticker surgery, cut these in half and do half on each of the 1x2s, and then fill in the gaps between. So I've got a huge pile of sticker sheets and a huge pile of tiles, so I'm just off to stick on 32 stickers. So now I've got a whole stack of sticker sheets with just 2 stickers used, but they're still going to be useful in the future. I've got these 1x3 stickers which can go on other tiles in the future for another project. I've got a whole bunch of 1x4 tiles with a wood grain effect on them, and I've still got loads of sticker sheets left. I just need to cut up 4 of them to add on to these 1x2 tiles. And now I've got the 8 1x2s to fill in the gaps. So if any of you have ever built a deck before, you know you have to stagger your joints. So that's what we're going to do now. The first row is obviously going to have 3 planks. And then the second row will have 2. Like that. And then we'll fill in the gaps with 2 of the 1x2s. And then we're going to carry that on all the way down. And now we've got a nice wooden deck where the residents of the modern house can admire their garden. Now right on the edge of the deck I've got a little rogue 2x3 plate. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of greenery like we had at the front of the house just to keep that in place. So I've added in the leaf pieces from the original house plus a few other little bits here, and now that 2x3 plate isn't going anywhere. So the next job is to tidy up the other side, which will be just in front of the tower of the house, and to keep it in the same style as the rest of the building I'm just going to add some light grey bricks. So we're going to have some 1x4s running along, one behind it to fill in the gap, and then a 1x2 on the end. And then just next door to that, I thought it'd be nice to have a few steps leading from the back door down into the garden. And I'm going to build that using just a few plates and tiles. So first of all, I'm going to add a couple of 1x6 grey plates, and then these steps are going to be curved, so we're going to use some of these 2x2 curved tiles. A plate in the middle, a tile in front, and then another curved tile at the other end like that. The next step up is going to be one stud back, so we're going to have another 1x6 and another 1x2 in front, and then add in our curved tiles in front with another tile in the middle and a curved tile at the end. And then hopefully you'll see how these steps are going to go up to the house. So then lastly, another curved tile, and this time we're going to fill in that gap with a 1x1 quarter circle tile. We're going to have two 1x1 tiles in the middle, and then we're going to do the same at the other end. Oops, so you don't fall in that tiny gap. There we go. A quarter circle, and then a curved tile. And there's our 3 steps leading up to the back door. Then just in front of the wall, I thought this was a nice place to have a planted area. It's just in front of the tower, so residents can sit in the kitchen and have a look at the flowers they've planted in the garden. And what I've done, I've just got a few plates. So there's a 1x10 and two 2x3s. Oh, a 2x10 and two 2x3s. And then on top of that, I've added a couple of extra plates and then various pieces of greenery and some pink flowers. And that's just going to sit on the base plate in front of the tower. Ooh, it'll clip down just there. And then on this front corner, I thought it'd be nice for the residents to have a garden pond. Now the design I'm using for this isn't 100% my own. It's based on a set I bought from a company called One More Brick here in the UK, and they make small Lego sets out of genuine Lego parts, but they put them together and sell them on as mini builds. And this was part of a fountain that I bought from them a while ago. So in the center, we're going to have a blue plate, and that's going to represent the water from the fountain, and then we're going to put some curved bricks around the outside of that, like so. And then in the middle, I thought it'd be nice to have some water bubbling up, so we're going to put a round plate, a round brick, and a dish piece. Then over on this side, we're going to have a little piece of greenery growing up in the pond. And on the other side, there's going to be a small lily pad with, of course, a Lego frog sitting on it, like that. Then smoothing off the bricks, I'm using these curved tiles. So there's 4 of those to go on each of the bricks. And then if water would be bubbling up in there, I've got another transparent blue dish that can sit in there to represent the water coming up. And then we're going to fill up this with a whole load of 1x1 round transparent blue plates. So hopefully that gives the slight effect of the water bubbling up and over and into the pond. And I thought we could put some garden furniture there for a little bit of alfresco dining. This is also based on a design by One More Brick here in the UK. And what I'm using is 2 of these log pieces and a 2x6. And that's going to make our garden bench. So we're going to have one of those over here on the left and another one over on the right. And then for the table in the middle, I've got some more of these 1x2 log pieces with some 1x4 plates on top. So we're going to have 2 of those as our support structure for the table. And then down the sides, I've got 2 1x6 tiles. And then I've got a 2x6 plate to go in the middle, and we've already set up 2 hot dogs and 2 cups of something for the residents to be eating for their lunch. And then our last main addition is adding in 2 of these round bricks that Lego have recently produced and quite often get used as planters. So we're going to add 2 of those near the deck. And in one of them, I'm putting this triple leaf piece with a regular flower stem in the middle. And for the other one, I've got 3 of these newer leaf pieces and the different stem with the bar on the end, so that can go in the hole in the middle, and that's going to go in the other planter. And then to finish the whole thing off, just like Lego did on the front of the original house, and added in a few small rocks and things around the place just to give it a more lived-in, natural look. What I'm going to do, I've got a few green plates, some cheese wedge slopes and some green flower pieces, and I'm going to scatter those around just to give it a little bit more of a natural look. Now I was going to finish the garden there, but just as I was filming, I did realise the deck is looking rather empty, but I also remembered we had the 2 sun loungers from the original build, so they're not going to be fixed down at all, but I thought we could add those in here. I've also got the spare kitchen table, and I thought if I took the top off that, and I could add a round tile with a stud in the middle of it, and then that's the spare cup from next to the other swimming pool with some different coloured chairs in it, and then we've got our 2 sun loungers, and someone's having a nice drink on the deck. So that's all the building work done, and the final thing to do is obviously add these 2 to the main building. Unfortunately, there's no way I'm going to fit all that in on my build desk here, so I'm going to transfer to another room so you can have a full view of the entire build. So we've moved location, we've got Big Fig Jez sitting in the background, and the first job is to reattach the beach. So we're going to remove the sun loungers and replace the row of tiles that were behind them. And also replace the tile in front of the patio doors. And as you can see, that's the beach now firmly fixed in place. And at the back we need to add the same tiles. At the door, where I also had to reinstate this 1x4 grey plate, and then the tile by the patio doors. Now in front of the tower there's nothing to join the 2 together, and it's also looking a little bit messy, so first of all we're going to add some plates, and then add a row of tiles to match the ones behind. And then that tidies up the whole area. And because I extended the green out beyond the end of the building, both at the back and at the front, I need to remove the dark grey support tiles and add a row of green plates. And we're finally complete. No, don't walk across the... So I am really pleased with how this build has turned out, both with doubling up on the building and making it twice as big as the original, but also modifying the outside, extending that beachfront, but also completely changing the back of the house and adapting it into a garden. My personal highlight of the building is that massive 3-storey tower. Now it's double the size, and I think the building looks really good from this angle. Moving around to the original side of the building, it's great having that extended water and beachfront, and my favourite part on this side is that extended jetty with the wood effect stretching out into the water. Moving around to what I kind of think of as the back of the building, I think the building looks weakest from this angle, but putting it into a Lego city, it'll be really easy to add some extra features and brighten up this side of the building. And then once round into the new garden, I think my highlights here are the curved steps. I think using that curved shape on all 3 steps gives it a really pleasing shape and much more interesting than if I just used some rectangular tiles. And then of course I also think that wooden deck looks amazing. Now I've finally found a use for all those sticker sheets that I've been sitting on for all those years. And I think my new favourite viewing angle of the building is this one here. Getting a view of that tower from 45 degrees, but also seeing the huge new garden at the back of the house. But I'm also still keen on the same view but of the original house, just like it was seen on the original box art. Let me know what your favourite feature is in the comments below. If you've liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and of course, please subscribe for more LEGO videos.